Why are the crypto markets crashing so hard? There's blood in the markets. People are panic selling. What should you do? And why do I think that making the right choices right now could actually make you rich during the next 12 to 18 months? We're going to look at this and analyze it completely, break it down for you during this video. Let's get started. My free thinking rebels, welcome to another Decrypting Crypto. I am Stefan Subero, the holistic growth mentor. I am on a mission to help individuals just like you, business owners, parents, entrepreneurs, to safely enter into the crypto space and take advantage of the situations just like this one that we have right now. Now, for us to really understand what is happening and to kind of help you paint a better picture, let's jump in and take a look at what could have caused all of this. Why? Everything was going so good, right? Bitcoin was up 150%. The altcoins were going crazy. Why is this happening? Boo-hoo-hoo. Look, let's look at it and see. Why is this happening? First off, let's see. The US charges KuCoin crypto exchange with anti-money laundering. Now, this was on March 26th. That's around when we started to see the first crash. I think the first crash was a little bit before this, right? Now we have Binance founder CZ is going to spend 4 months in prison. Look, I found it strange, honestly. I found it strange that this hadn't happened before. But look, he's getting a very, very, very small slap on the wrist. He's paying 50 million in fines. He's going to jail for 4 months when normally money laundering sentences are at least 3 to 4 years. So look, slap on the wrist for CZ. Yes, this is also causing panic in the market. Is it? Maybe. Is it contributing to it? Yes. Maybe we just have a little bit too much happening at the same time. Right, we had the macro geopolitical issues happening. We had this happening. We have the KuCoin situation going on. What else is going on? Look, my friends, this is the first time we've seen the fear and greed index down to 43. We've been in extreme greed for the last 5 months, and this has never happened before. Okay. Now, what else can we see? We see that the more than 160 million leveraged Bitcoin positions wiped out. I think overall in the last 2 weeks, we've had over half a million in leveraged Bitcoin alone being liquidated. Why is this the biggest issue? No, it's not. This is not the big issue. What else can we see? BlackRock ETF posts the first day of outflows leading to a record 563 million exiting from this spot. Now, is this also what's causing it? I think it's a combination of all of these things. If we look at the spot Bitcoin ETF, we have not had any money coming in since the beginning of April, right? We had like a balance, it was balanced, but then since then, it's been mainly outflows, money coming out. And then yesterday we see 563 million exiting the ETFs. Are they taking profits? What are they doing? What's going on? What are they scared of? Look, not a conspiracy theorist. Well, sometimes I am. But all I have to say is, and I don't know what comes first. Is it the charts? Is it where we are in the market? Or is it the news that is causing it? I think it's the latter. I think the charts and where we currently are is what is causing this whole situation. We have been overbought for quite some time. We have hit all-time highs in record speed. We have never done this before, my friends. Never have we done this before. Have we reached the all-time highs prior to the halving? Now, to put this into perspective, let's go back in time for a moment on the Bitcoin price chart, and let's analyze this. So from the inception of Bitcoin, we can see, and now I won't go through all of the details that I found, but the main thing that I'm looking at. So from the bottom of the market until we actually begin to have the parabolic run up, during the first cycle, it took 490 days. Okay, 490. During the second one, from the bottom till we started to go parabolic again, it took around 798, almost 800 days. During the third halving, right, from the bottom of the market until we went parabolic, it took around 700 days. So, we between 500 and 800, right? So if we look at that, we can kind of say, hey, between 600-700, that's kind of what we want to be looking out for, right? For the true parabolic run. And if we look at that from where we are right now, we shouldn't have seen a parabolic run up until at least September of this year. But we had the mighty Bitcoin ETFs, which caused massive inflow of money into crypto. And my chart is loading up. What the... oh no, there we go. I don't know what that was. There we go. What causes the markets to pull back this much? Is it all the news? Look, it can be a combination of news and a combination of technical analysis, and we can't really ever tell. Now, what I want everybody to sit down and look back and say, hey, what can you be doing right now? How can you take advantage of this to make sure that you end up on the right side, that you can make profits, that you can make some returns from this? Now, any smart investor knows you always want to practice very good risk management. That's number one. So what is your risk reward ratio, right? And you can actually analyze that in every single asset that you're looking at. Now, what I like to do, and this is what I'm going to share with you all today, is what is the biggest risk right now? And again, we're going to look at just Bitcoin, right? I'm not going to jump into altcoins. Maybe we'll leave that for another video. But what is the biggest risk right now for you when it comes to Bitcoin? Now, if we really look at this, like, this is quite normal. If we analyze this drop even further, we can see that every time we hit the all-time high, we do get some form of a pullback. This is kind of normal, right? So this pullback, if we analyze it from the top to where we are right now, this is about a 22% pullback. So let's go back a little bit. What has happened before during prior? So right here, when we were going to break this all-time high during 2020, how much of a pullback did we get? We did get one. It's right here. We got a 17% pullback. Okay, now let's go back a little bit more. Right, 2017 bull run. We broke above, very similar to right now. This is actually super similar to where we are now. We broke above the all-time high, and then we crashed 31% from the top. Much bigger crash. If we go back a little bit more, I think it was the only bull run where we didn't. We just kind of broke through this. But again, Bitcoin was a much smaller coin then. But we have history showing us that during the last two bull runs previous to this one, we've had very strong crashes. 31% in one and 18% in the other one. So, if we look at the average, this is kind of coinciding, right? We have on now a 23% drop, right? Kind of almost smack in the middle of those last two. So what is the true downside? What is the true downside right now? Are we going into a bear market? Well, no, we're not. So if you're hearing that historically that's impossible. Never ever in the 15 years of Bitcoin being an available asset have we ever crashed and gone into a bear market right after the halving. It would make no sense, because we have something called supply and demand. When the supply of an asset goes down and the demand stays the same, we can only go up. We can only go up. Now, back to what I'm talking about with what is the risk to reward. Now, an easy way to look at your risk to reward is, let's analyze the Fibonacci. Now, I use Fibonacci all the time to find my exit targets, and I've been using it from the beginning. Like, I've been accumulating Bitcoin during this specific cycle since we were down here, I think around the 20,000K mark. accumulating, and I've already been taking profits. My first take profit zone was the golden pocket, and we can see precisely, right? Fibonacci, again, we came up to the golden pocket, and this is where we got some massive price action, some sell-offs. We can see here that we just kind of consolidated, right? Sideways price action, consolidation, which is needed. And then we pushed up back to the all-time high. Profits, again, massive area for taking profits. If you are smart money, think about it. If you've been accumulating Bitcoin from down here or here, you will take profit. It's just natural. You can't be moonbagging it and just trying to go to the moon. You must take profit. This is a 156% increase. You gotta take profits. So at this stage, this is exactly what I am feeling and I'm seeing is just a lot of profits have been taken. We are getting this pullback. We're scaring out the weak hands. People are selling, panic selling in fear, putting the money back into the hands of smart money so they can scoop it up again and get themselves ready for the next leg. So what do we know about the next leg of the bull market? It is actually the biggest, the strongest, and the part of the bull cycle that you really, 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 really want to be a part of. This is where you're going to get the next move up. Now, if we just look at the Fibonacci's and we kind of analyze it from where we currently are, and I'll do Bitcoin and I'll do Ethereum just because they're the two biggest coins. Now, realistically, all right, let's say we are in a bear market. We normally crash 80%, 80 to 90%. So if that was to happen from where we are, we would have to crash all the way back down to $30,000. This is the next biggest level, or even lower to $25,000. Now, if we really sit down and think about this, this is extremely improbable, extremely. But let's just say this is the worst case scenario, 65,000. This is your risk, a 65% drop. That's your risk. Look, I highly doubt that's probable, but let's keep it on the cards. For me personally right now, worst case scenario. And if we look at the history, we've seen that the biggest drop was 32%. Let's go even deeper. Let's say that the biggest drop we can get is 41%. So that's your downside. But what is your upside? What is your actual upside from where we are right now? What is the reward that we could see if we were to accumulate some more? Add to your positions. Hopefully you have been taking profits. And if you haven't, then maybe you need to take a minute, use the link in the description, book a 45-minute strategy call with me. We can kind of take a look at what you've been doing. What the hell have you been doing? If you haven't taken profits yet, then you don't know what you're doing and you need some help. Okay, so use the link in the description. Now, from here, what is the potential upside? We can see that to the next Fibonacci zone, we have another 150%. If we were to do a full Fibonacci extension, we're looking at another 3x from where we are. And historically, if we look at it from the all-time high, right, which is where we are right now, to the top of the market, this was a 2.3x, right? Prior to that, let's see, from this all-time high to the top was a 15x. Prior to that, from the all-time high to the top of the market was a 35x. So obviously we can see we've had some diminishing returns, 100%. That is completely normal when an asset becomes mature. You're not gonna get those big returns. So in my mind, I'm looking at, let's say, a worst case scenario, we only get a 2x from where we are right now, right? Which is kind of what I've been thinking. And I made a video, I'll leave the card right up here of what my price prediction for Bitcoin is and why I think so strongly that's what we're going to get. I dive super deep into it. You can check that out. Now, let's look at that, right? A 2x. 2x is going to be right around here, around the fourth target, the 3.618. Now, upside 2x. Worst case scenario, downside in my mind is going to be another 25% drop from where we are. Or if we look at it from the top of the drop, it would be let's call it a 40% drop. So your risk is still 3 times bigger. Sorry, your reward is still 3 times bigger than your risk. And this is what you need to do as a smart investor. You really need to analyze this in that perspective, right? What is my risk to reward? And there's other things that we can do to manage that risk even more, right? And this is where the gains will come for you. You just need to take your time. You need to get the help if you don't have it, because there's a lot of things you need to understand. And this is how you will make it in crypto. This is the only way. Now, before we end this video, like I said, I'm gonna do one more chart. Let's look at Ethereum, right? And we're gonna do the same thing. Let's just analyze your risk to reward. Now, if we look at the same thing, we're looking at Ethereum. What is the potential drop from here for Ethereum? If we look at it right now, another drop, the next major level would be another 23% drop. That overall would be, if we look at it from the top, so that'll be about a 40% drop. Again, now normally with altcoins, they tend to drop 10 to 20% more than Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin was to drop 40% from the top, let's make it very realistic, and let's say Ethereum was to drop 50%, right? And this brings us actually perfect to this next level around the $1,900 mark. But what is the reward? What is the reward? You have a 50% drop. What's the potential reward for Ethereum? Okay, we currently we can see that just to the all-time high, we have about a 60% increase. So you're about 1-to-1. That's a little bit more reward than risk, but let's call it a 1-to-1, just to the all-time high. To the golden ratio, it's going to be my next target. You have 1.x. To the third target, 2.6, you got about almost 3x. And if we were to do a full Fibonacci extension, you're looking at potentially a 5x return from where you are. So this is where, my friends, you need to sit back, take a deep breath. Yeah, everybody's going crazy. The markets are crashing, blah, blah, blah. Just put this into perspective. And like I said before, if you don't have the help, if you haven't been taking profits, if you are not in the market, maybe you're completely new to crypto, you're trying to figure out, okay, what should I do right now? Is this something I want to get into? I'm gonna urge you to take a second, look back at why would you even want to do this? And if you need the help and the guidance, just go ahead, feel free. Use the link in the description, my free thinkers. And look, that's all I got for you. I hope this video brought some value to you. Please leave a like down and let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to do. And if this content was valuable to you, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Stefan out.